Hello friends, today's video is about a comment from a friend on YouTube. So in this comment, he gave me an idea to uh, get some news from the news API and post the news to blog.com. So I already have a video for how to post a blogger from Google Sheet. And the first step, I'm going to use the news API to collect the news information from this website and get this information and put the information in Google Sheet. Okay. Okay. Here is the product. So basically, it's a very basic API, and we can use this example, and we can extend the functionality for almost most of the APIs. So here is very good for practice with the API. So here I can run so for news headlines and search for news. So here I like to choose a country. Let's try Hong Kong. And the category of the news, let's say general, and try to run the news headlines. Okay, so it's fetching data from, 28 headlines was found. And if you see the news, so all the content are saved to the sheet. And also you can search the news. Let's do Apple, and from February 20th to March 20th, and you can sort the news, and also you can choose a language for the news. Let's try this. Search news. Okay. So a lot of news for Apple. Okay, so here you can see all the news. Actually, it's not all. I think the maximum is 100. Okay, so this is the limit of the API. Even you found 31,000 in the result. Okay, let me show you how to do this. Okay, first, let's make a copy of this file. Let's call it news API organization. Okay, and we can close this one. So first, I'd like to show you I did a so I for the key field of this these cells, I define a name for each of these cells. So for country, for category, and for the query and from to, like this, I named it. So I give the cell name, and we can use the name in our code. So if you change the sheet name, it will not affect the range name. So that's why I prefer to use the range name. And also we have the result in here. I think I named the result. Yes, news A1 for the result. Okay, let's go to the code editor. Zoom in a little bit. And we need to rename this project to news API org. So first I'd like to delete the main functions here. I will keep the on open function to add the menu, and here I have a function to add the validation for the countries, category, language, and options. So here you can see we have drop down options here. You also can use this add validation to add the validation for these four cells for language, and sort by category, and the category and the country. Okay, so if you have more cell validation you need to add, you can just add your variables here and your options here, and add the validations in this function. It's a very handy tool, especially when you have a lot of countries, a lot of categories. You can use this add validations function. I'm not going to explain this function. I'm going to focus on the API function. Okay, so basically we will have two functions. The first function we are going to do a query for the headlines, and another will do the search news. Okay, so we have a function for headlines, and we also have a function for search news. Let's copy this to make sure no typos. Okay, so before we build both functions, we need to go to a website called newsapi.org. So here you can get your own API key. Okay, since I already have one here, so I don't need to get another one. So you need to get an API key, and in here, this documentation, you will find how to use this API, and we're going to focus on the top headlines and everything, these two sections. So first we go to the top headlines. So here, for the top headline, for the news headlines, we will have two variables or parameters. For first one is the country, and second one is the category of the news. Okay, so if you scroll down here, we have a lot of parameters. I only choose the country and the category. You also can add more if you like. Okay, and the page size here, you can see the default is 20, and 100 is a maximum. So if you need a bit, so you can define the page size in your code. Okay, so first let's build a function to name the fetch data. So fetch data, we're going to have a URL. So this URL will be, let me explain this URL. So basically, you will have an API like this. Let's copy this, and let's say the URL, URL. So the API key will be your API key. Okay, so let's replace the API key. Let's try to copy this. Okay, so this is the URL. We need to make a request. So if you copy this URL and you try to visit in your browser, as you can see here, you will have something like this. This is the JSON object, and you'll find all the articles in your so this is a response from this query. Okay, so the country is US, and here is your API key. So by default, the articles will be 20. Okay, so even we find 36 results. So you can change the page size. Let's say let's add another parameters. You can add it page size equal to 100. This is the maximum page size, and you can do another query. So this time you have all the 36 articles in this return, in this response. Okay, so let's copy this and put it here in this URL, and let's build our fetch data function. Okay, so the function is very simple. So I just do a variable call it response. So we're going to use a JSON parse string. Okay, so here we're going to use the API. I think this is called URL fetch app. Okay, right, I can remember it. And fetch. Okay, we'll fetch the URL. Okay, let's do a log to see what this response looks like. Response, and save it. Okay, let's run this fetch data. Let's remove this URL first. Let's run it. Okay, let's see. There's no log. Let's try to run it again. Okay, check the log. Okay, now I get the response with all the data. And we're going to return this response. Okay, so we only need to rebuild this URL. Let's save it. So for the headlines, we're going to use this, let's say, var API. So this is for headlines. And I think the country is a mandatory parameter. So for country will be, so as you can see here, I have defined the range for each cell, so country category like this. So I can use it here. So the country get value. So here I need to add the country equal to country, and I need to add a and sign here. Okay, here is a country, and we're going to have the category. So this category is optional. So if category get value is not equal to blank, I'm going to I'm going to return the URL. So var URL will be API and com and so here's the category equal to class category get value class and sign and API key equal to API key. So else the URL will be there, so there is no category here. If you use the country, the only parameter, let's save it, and we can try to run this fetch data. Var data will be fetch data URL. Okay. Try to log this data. Save it. So headlines, we can try to run the headlines. So it's Hong Kong's general, and we also can log the URL in case something is wrong. Okay, let's do the headlines. Let's see what happens. All right, so we get the data here, and we also have this URL here. You also can try it in your browser. So as here you can see the country is Hong Kong and the category is general. Okay, so let's try. So this function is done, and we also need to build another function to write this data to your Google Sheet. Okay, so let's build another function write to sheet with data. So this data is a JavaScript object. What we can do here, first we need to clean the result here. Okay, so result, remember result is a range in A1. So if you check the name, so here the result, okay. So the result is A1. So result dot offset. So rows offset 0, column offset 0. So for the rows will be result get sheet get last row, and number of columns will be result get sheet and get last column, and clear all the content in this range. So basically this range will be, so it depends how many rows and columns in this sheet. So in this case it will be 101 rows in the database, so all will be cleared. If I run this write to sheet function, let me try it. Okay, so it's cleared. All right. So since this data is an object, you can see here we are going to have articles here. we're going to get all the articles. So let's do a variable for article. Let's name it articles will be data.articles. Let's make sure there are no typos. Articles. Alright, so for let's do a header. So for the header, we're going to collect information for the title and description, author. Let's say what we need to collect. So basically all the informations in this object you can get. So the title, author, description, URL. You can retrieve it from the data. URL and let's get the published at. So this is the time. Published and finally we're going to have the content. So this is a header. So for let's name it the values. So I put the header in this value. So in these values we have one line now with the header. So now we are going to iterate the articles one by one and push the articles in the values. Okay. So for var I in articles, let's var A equals to articles I and the header, another header values dot push. We're going to push the array. So the first item in the array is a title. Okay, so a dot title. Second one is description. Next one author. Next one is URL. Next one is publish at. Last one is content. All right. Let's recheck the properties. Okay, I think that's fine. And we can save it. And now we can write the data to the result sheet. So results.offset, row offset 0, column 0. So number of rows will be values.length, and number of columns will be header.length. Okay, and set values will be values. So we just set the values to values and save it. Okay, let's try to write the data to the sheet. Data. Save it and try to run this headlines function. So let's try it. Okay, the coordinate of dimension of the range is invalid. Okay, so since there is nothing in this sheet, so we get this error. Okay, so let's do this. If rows, if result dot get sheet dot get last row bigger than 0, I think. Not sure if this will work. Let's try it. Let's do this. If result get value, is not equal to empty. Okay. Save it and run again. Let's have no more error. Okay, so we get the result here. So it's 20. I think I forget to add the page size, I think. So page size 100. Save it and run again. Still 20. What's wrong? Hong Kong general. Let's delete this one. Let's try Chinese. Try China and run. Okay. So page size 100. Oh, I missed and sign. To add the and sign here. Save it and run it again. Okay, so let's see what is the URL. Airline page size 100 country. Do I have to pay? Do I have to? I think I need to put the page size behind the. Okay, here we have two and sign. That's weird. Alright, I know what the issues. Two, as here you can see we have two and sign. What's the issue? If I end here, so here I don't need to have the end. So this is here I need to have, but here I don't need it. Alright, let's try it again. No errors. Okay, so you have 29. So basically, this tool, so basic function are done here, and you can. So for this such news, it will be very simple. You only need to define your new API. So let's do this. So for search news, you have more options. There is a lot of more parameters you can select from this list. Okay, you have domain, source, and you have time and language, sort by, a lot of stuff. And there will be another URL. So it's for this one. Let's copy this. Actually, I like to copy this. Okay, put it here. And we're going to copy this URL. Replace this one. So page size 100. So there will be no more country. build this URL, to I think the query is must-have function. So the query will be this search values. Okay, so for Q for query will equal to Q equal to plus search dot get value. So this Q is a must-have. Okay, and if search from to sort by a language. So if from dot get value is not equal to empty, so this Q, so I'm going to add a and sign here. Q plus equal from plus from dot get value plus and sign. So let's do this 3 more times. From to and next one I think is from to sort by. Sort by. Last one I think is language. So these are options, optional parameters. And finally, we're going to get the URL. URL will be API plus Q plus C is the API key. Okay, let's run this search news function. All right. Let's try to see the log. API key missing. Okay, I forgot the API key. So here I need to add API key. This is API key, where is the API key? So here I need to add API key. API key equal to API key. Save it and try it again. Since here I didn't get the API key. Let's try this. Okay, I think this is a result. No issues here. So this is the query URL. Put it here. Alright. So this is the result. So both functions are now working. So I need to add some information for the end users. So here I have a status cell here to keep some informations. Okay. So for the first one's headlines, let's do so try catch error. So status survey error message. So if everything goes fine, and I'm gonna do status.survey. Actually, the data here. So the data will have a total result property here. We can use it. So data.total results news headlines. So I'm going to clear this data. Clear. Splash. Not clear. Set information like fetch data from news API org. Let's also copy this to this one. Also try catch error. Let's copy this line and copy this line. So news. Let's save it. Okay, let's try to do something here. Let's try to do US category for sports news. Fetching data from news API org. So news were found. So okay, I think this is all the news about the sports. So it's working. And here I'd like to search something for apps script from this period, last 1 month, and language is English. So let's do the search news. Okay, 405 news was found. So I think only the first 100 was put in this spreadsheet. So okay, so far so good. So it's working. So basically, once you get the data from this website, you can use the data for whatever purpose you'd like to use. You can send this news headlines with within a Gmail, or you can post this information to your blog. You can use your imagination. You can do anything. I think you can do almost everything going forward. And if you need to post this information to a blog, and I had a video here, is to post something from your Google Sheet to Blogger. You can check this video, and maybe later I will going to do another video for this, maybe, but I'm not sure if I have enough time for this. Okay, and I think that's all for today's video, and I hope you can learn something from this video. Thank you guys. See you next time. Bye bye.